This is episode 3 of the Time Warlords. I am your warlord, Chris, and today we are going to be talking all about our first upcoming 9th Age Fantasy Battles event called the Riverwood Rumble and breaking down our thematic scenarios and how they will pan out, what their special rules are, and a little bit of what we're bringing with us and what we've got on the hobby table. Thank you for listening. All details on these scenarios and the event itself are in the show notes. But please follow us on Apple, on Spotify, and on Facebook. And thank you very much for listening to the Part-Time Warlords. All right, good evening, gentlemen. We've got a whole bunch of warlords in to talk about the Rumble. Upcoming in about a month. So hello to Jack and Matt and Hugo. I'm just going to say hi to Hugo first because he hasn't joined us before. Hello, Hugo.
Oh, hi. I'm Hugo. Nice to meet you all.
Hugo, of course, is the actual competitive player in this group who can actually analyze things properly when it comes to 9th Age. And of course, Hugo and I, we did the original Part-Time Warlords. I'm pretty sure, Hugo, you gave me the name The Part-Time Warlord, by the way.
Small details.
Small details. Yeah, he pretty much did. And he and I loved running a bunch of those episodes and talking 9th Age pre-COVID. So thanks so much for joining us, Hugo, with the second
Stop saying Chris. Stop it.
Oh, I will try. And of course, we've got Matt with us. G'day, Matt.
G'day. How you going, guys?
Yeah, very good. And Jack.
Evening, gents. How's everyone?
I swear because I've said that someone's going to start like a counter.
Probably.
Yeah, not bad, Jack. Not bad. It's late on a Saturday night, but we've already had a good time catching up. So thank you, listeners. Thank you for everyone joining us. And basically today we're going to do a bit of an explainer for the Rumble, which is our first event coming up at Club Rivers in Riverwood. We're calling it the Riverwood Rumble. Patent pending. Trademark pending on Saturday 29th of June, and we're going to go through some of the slightly thematic scenarios. So we're playing 3,500 points 9th Age Fantasy Battles. Each game is probably going to take like 7 hours long, so I'm never going to finish a proper game, but fingers crossed I get through these games in about 2.5 hours. We'll see how we go.
You'll be all right.
We'll be right. We take the smaller points.
We can do some practice games beforehand. We'll do some training.
Yes, actually. And shout out to one of our listeners, James Knight. You guys remember James?
Mm-hmm.
Absolute legend. He lives around the corner now. He lives in Riverwood now. So he's going to come over and have a test game very soon. I'll give you guys a report back, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. I believe he played a few different armies. Vermin Swarm, maybe Warriors. It's a bit hard to remember. But yeah, I'll get a couple of practice games in as well at 3,500 points, which is a nice little sweet spot.
Cool.
All right. So we have 10 people signed up, which is fantastic. I think we've even got 6 lists submitted. So that's fantastic. We're trying to aim for, that 10 to 15 to start off with, just to get the gang back together. So looking pretty good. And we're going to kick it off with Washed Ashore. So our round 1 mission is Washed Ashore. I mentioned in the last episode with Brendan that basically all the armies are vying for a bunch of treasure, and we're all coming via boat. And the theme is we've washed shore, and literally we're all absolutely pissed off after a really long few weeks of sea travel, and everyone is angling for a fight. So we've got a bit of a funny rule with this one. The deployment is what we would casually call diagonals. Is that right, guys? Refuse flank. So we're going kind of like diagonal line down the center, 9 inches away.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got one important special rule, which is called foul manners. So basically at the start of our setup, we have a unit on either side you can pick to be the foul mannered unit. And basically this foul mannered unit is throwing obscenities. They're flipping the bird. They're yelling and spewing at the enemy, trying to absolutely piss them off. And basically this unit, every enemy model counts as having frenzy when it comes to this unit. The thing is, if you fail a frenzy check against that unit, it gives a point to your opponent, and the person with the most points, pissing off the most people, basically, gets the victory, the secondary victory. One other little thing we've got here is if your unit is a scoring unit that fails the test, okay, you get an additional point as well. I'm not sure why they decided to add that in, but I guess if it's they've got to use the scoring units somehow within the scenario rules, right? Because normally scoring units are the ones that capture objectives and things like that. So I might throw it to Jack. Jack, if you were to pick a unit that was going to be foul-mannered in your collection, got a thought of what type of unit it would be?
So I reckon for this tournament, I think I'm going to take dwarves. So I'm traveling from Melbourne. I'm coming up for another reason. I'm there for a few weeks, so I haven't got a huge amount of space to carry a big army. So I reckon dwarves is pretty much the smallest army I can carry easily. I took a 4,500 point dwarf army to ESC, it's a singles championships many years ago. I travelled with that in one of those GW skirmish cases.
Nice.
Like just jammed in there. So I reckon I can travel pretty easily. So I'm taking the dwarves to this tournament. So my normal, I think the obvious for the foul mouths is like the slayers, right? Because they're all like flipping the bird and like showing the nards and just generally causing chaos. But I think to game this, I'd probably do my big greybeard block, because my gimmick, and this has been my thing for the last couple of years, is I take a Vanguard dwarf list, I take a couple of blocks of slayers, take a big block of greybeards, and I run them like, I take like 30 of them, max. So probably for this tournament, it's smaller points, so I'll probably take like 25-ish or something. Put a bunch of characters in there, Vanguard them 2 wide with throwing weapons, and then give them that the item that allows you to reform after they've been charged. So you get to like do the janky thing with the throwing weapons, and then you can reform into like a deep block and then just have your characters fight. So I think that's probably going to have to be the obvious thing, because it'll be super wide, so it'll get like a whole bunch of units within that range of the frenzy charging. So greybeards, I suppose, is probably going to be the answer. Rude old men just making a whole bunch of anti-Semitic comments or something like that. Probably
that's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm sure it'll be. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very socially unacceptable comments. So
sound like chaos dwarves.
Yeah, that's right. Bunch of old dudes just whinging about the cost of coffee today. So
that's exactly right. They're just there with their anti-ageism signs.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, they've got a really old guy, and he writes really slowly, and he's like, "Wait, stop writing! I'm writing in the book of grudges. Just slow down for a sec, you whippersnappers." He's writing down as many names as he can.
Yeah. So that'll probably be me.
Matt, do you know what army you might be bringing, Matt?
I know what army. I've already submitted my army, so you should know what army I'm playing. But I'll be playing the Empire. I have 2 choices. One, definitely, I think probably my big block of Imperial Guard would be a good choice, just because similar kind of reason. They're kind of like the old guard of the Empire, who are who are just kind of lisping and complaining about their knees and things while they fight, so people want to kill them. But also just having some shenanigans with people failing frenzy checks and then charging and then getting shot by handguns next to the guy, I thought might be cool. But then also considering the model that I have for my steam tank with my little dude up top with his little admiral hat, I'll take a photo of it and I'll share it.
Yeah.
He might also be a kind of a good choice, as he's just kind of throwing Spanish insults at people in Spanish.
You got to prep your Spanish, yeah.
I'll learn some Spanish swear words to throw at my opponent while I play, if I choose the steam tank.
Oh, absolutely. The steam tank would be a good one. That link to mine. I'll ask Hugo. Well, Hugo's already He's already told us. He's already given away his secret. The only reason he's come on the podcast is so he can hear all the inside goss, learn the scenarios, and then build his list afterwards.
Yeah, Hugo hasn't built his list yet. So
Yeah.
Hugo, what are you picking for yours, mate?
I'll know the night before.
Yeah. I hear the clicking of the new recruit list being built as we speak.
He could be. So we won't ask him which one of his units will be most foul-tempered, because it'll probably be him the morning of when he gets there, of like the midnight, getting all these models together. It'll just be Hugo, the foul-mannered.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like I'm looking at it going, I guess the straightforward choice is I will pick a unit that, I don't know, is happy to receive multiple charges. That's what scores the most points.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, what if you pick a unit of fast cab as well? That also works just fine. But
actually, that is a good idea.
Whoops, shouldn't have said that.
Goblins who you can do the goblins that get the free flee reaction and that sort of stuff.
Something like that.
Interesting.
And then if you got faint flight, you'll just bring it back again.
See, this man thinks tactically.
It's also very thematic. Like that's hilarious that it just like it's just drive by like disrespect.
Yeah,
just these goblins running past, being like, "You get," and then buggering off. I'm like, okay.
The smells of elderberries.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's thematic. Yeah. I was going to see where you're going with that.
Yeah, it also works with like what does it also work with? It's just basically a rule saying that like, oh, this is a unit that your opponent wants to get rid of in combat.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny that it doesn't have any points for getting rid of that unit, does it?
So you'd pick something that's like can't really be shot or magicked off the board. Has to be removed via combat. Is probably where you.
Yeah,
also
but if it does get removed, then you stop scoring secondary. Essentially,
that's true. So you don't. Yeah.
Gotta be tough enough to take the hit, but also tough enough to stick around for a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a weird one, because I most likely will be bringing my favorite army, because they're my favorite army, which is of course the Vermin Swarm, and I don't know, aren't they always foul-mannered? I don't know if they ever have any good manners, but maybe I'll just pick the biggest monster and chuck him right in the middle of the battlefield. But he's got random movement. How's that going to work? I don't know. Probably not.
But for this scenario, I can also see something stupid like if you're going first, you get. Let's say, like you send your unit into the no man's land, you get a charge, and then your opponent fails a charge, so you get a victory point, and then you just decide, you know what, I'm just going to turn my army around now, because if I don't charge you, you don't get anything. That's straight. That's straight
retreat. Yeah.
So like me, with all my static res being so high, it's like all my units are getting rear charges. I don't care. I just can't be charged or can't charge them because I'm not facing the correct way.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you win secondary straight away. Like you just make them fail one charge, and then you just turn your army around and be like, well, you're not going to get a point off me, so thanks for the secondary.
Yeah,
we could do some stringing out fast cab in front of your infantry that don't want to charge, so they can't charge.
Something stupid like that.
Yeah. Naturally.
Well, I wonder if anyone's bringing Warriors of the Dark Gods. You're thinking just all these like psycho chaos worshipping nut jobs, and then they all have this rerollable leadership 8, rerollable leadership 9. So they're actually quite orderly when it comes to these sorts of things. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Again, we haven't. I mean, I'll do a play test probably with this. Maybe I'll get James and I to do it, but yeah, it just seems like something little and silly. Hopefully we don't have people forgetting the frenzy tests all the time. Maybe we'll have to come up with some sort of
maybe we'll do a little, just like maybe we'll have a little thing on each table just saying, this is the frenzy rule, just for those who don't normally use it. Because I knew that I had to reread it before while we were looking at the scenario.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know the rules for that. Or at least I can't remember the rules for that.
Yeah,
never really had those frenzied units.
Who don't know the frenzy, those who don't know the frenzy rule, it is not like the old or the current old world rule or the old 8th edition rule. It's quite different, isn't it? It's like a minimize leadership test if you're within movement +7 or something like that, isn't it? So that's a great idea. And you can always just yell in Spanish, and that will remind everyone to go back to the start of the turn and take all the leadership tests that they forgot at the start of the turn.
And I'll try to do like proper Spanish and not like white boys mispronouncing Spanish. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think of Spanish words and I can't. But
That's right.
you
Go
understand
away.
what I mean.
Go away.
you
Become
speak the language.
Spanish. Yeah. Become Spanish and come back.
Yeah. Old El Paso. Yeah.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yes.
That would be pretty annoying, actually, if someone came up and asking you where the
I'm
library was.
I'm gonna do your mother smells of elderberries and just Google Translate it and then just yell that.
Yeah, that's great. You do if my mother was a. I'll have to find that one as well. Jack, the grudge writing thing reminds me of a wrestling gimmick that one guy had at some point. I think it was Chris Jericho had it at one point. He wrote a list of all the people that he hated. And every time someone did something to him he didn't like, he just said, "You've made the list, so I'm going to find that. I'm going to cut that in at some point."
Nice. Got his own little
Max will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So that's foul manners. That's foul manners. Again, not sure how my giant monster, how they're going to even keep him on a boat to get him to this destination, but it'll happen and it'll be foul mannered when he gets there. So we might go to round 2. So round 2, we've basically landed. We've all lost the treasure map and it's hidden treasures, which is on page 5 of our supplements, I think.
Yes, page 5.
Oh, page 5.
Yes.
Everyone flick to page 5 really quickly. And Matt, did you want to have a chat about this one?
Yeah. So for this one, the deployment is just frontline clash, so it's nice and easy for a kind of mid-game game. But there are a few little itty-bitty things with the secondary. It's kind of a combination, or at least like a bit of a combination between pennies and hold the center, in a sense that there are 3 positions on the board and you mark them. And there's a map on like a diagram with where those coins are. Essentially, they're 18
inches apart on
and
the
18 inches away from each other. At the start of each game turn, so not player turn, game turn, someone rolls D3. And then a treasure marker is placed at the center of pretty much the corresponding place on the diagram. So there's a 1, 2, and 3 treasures on the diagram. For those, we'll probably try and get a printed out picture for each of the scenarios for each table. So that's pretty straightforward. And if there's already a marker on that position, you don't place a marker during that turn. So after about 3 turns or a few turns, there should be 3 markers on the table. At the end of the game, each player who controls the most of the treasure markers win the secondary objective. Similar to kind of hold the center, if you're within 6 inches of the center of each marker, or you have more scoring units, within the 6 inches of the center of each marker, you hold that marker. And if one scoring unit is really big and it's between 2 of them, it's whichever marker the center of that unit is closest to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
there is a chance here. Yeah, there is a chance here that you only have 1 marker down at the end of the game.
There is a chance, because if you just keep rolling 1 and 2 all game, then you're only going to have 1. But there's also a chance that you roll 1, 2, 3 in turns 1, 2, and 3. Or you know what I mean? All 3 of them and have them up. So it's kind of weird. I'd also definitely try and find an interesting and fun way to to work out with your opponent as to who rolls the dice and why. Maybe if they rolled terribly in a previous one, or if something happened, definitely kind of figure that out. If they bought drinks last, figure out between the 2 of you. Yeah,
you absolutely could. It feels like the person who designed Hidden Treasures was just like, how do we make flip a coin be a game mode?
How do we make a scenario that Matt would understand? That's what the brief of this scenario was when we were reading the 3 scenarios, and this is the one that I understood. Because it's pennies. Okay. Frontline clash. Awesome. Love it. Let's go.
Yeah. And Hugo, you're kind of gambling on which one's going to be which token's going to be put into play at what time, and judging when you want your units there and things as well. So I don't know if that's going to help him decide, because it's just a bit of randomness, but you're going to need to spread those scoring units out a little bit, depending on.
You get to find out at the end of the game. It's not scoring every turn. So.
Correct. So the game's pretty much over by the time that you know where all of them pretty much are. No, all of them would be, because it's at the start of the game turn. So at the start of the end of the turn, the last turn.
Yep.
That's when it would be placed.
Yep. So you're going to be kind of fighting over the 1 or 2 or 3 that are there. So each game might be quite radically different, actually, now that I think about it.
It's like a big... It's kind of like a weird fight for the center, almost.
Yeah.
Because everything should be... Well, most games are, but, there are some games where not everything's within the diameter of the 8 inches of the center.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much what it's going to be like.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any... I don't think there are definitely not in the base, in the standard set of scenarios, but like objectives that move, because I was also thinking these could technically move. I had some ideas to custom create some scenarios where you were basically digging for treasure, and the player who went first had no idea, but the player who went second, secretly looked at a couple of tokens, and you put a set of tokens out on the board with hidden treasure under certain numbers and red herrings under other ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they've got missions like that. I think Jack, we spoke about that idea a little bit, and it just gets a bit wacky, doesn't it? At when you're talking about tournaments and just trying to make it nice and clear and obvious.
Yeah, it does make a bit of a challenge. You can do the numbering where, you have maybe a whole bunch of objectives. You have like 6 or 8 objectives, and then at the end you roll up which objectives actually are scoring at
the real
end.
ones.
Yeah. Like you can pick them up, and then you find that only
that's a great idea.
2 out of the 6 are actually scoring. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and one of them is -1. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Or you can do the crazy wacky thing which we've done previously, which is moving objectives. And I think we previously did it up as the fluff being like escape captives or something like that, where like the objective moves, I don't know, I forget what it was, like 2d6 in a random direction every turn, and you've got to get a scoring unit to like charge them to pick them up.
Yep.
So that's kind of fun as well.
I was looking into some models for captives and prisoners and stuff like that. I can't remember which army it was for now, but yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to talk to Brendan about that one. Yeah. Maybe you've got escaped. We can thematically link it to the end of this, where you've captured a bunch of the enemy's units and you're sailing back to your town, and we can link it into the Coastal Cataclysm event.
Yeah. We could definitely make them thematic. Like, it'd be great if, I sat on a card and I pulled them like, oh, this card says Hugo loses 5 battle points. I don't know, just what it says. Sorry, Hugo.
Just straight
up. 5 battle points. I'm not even playing you, but you lost it over on that table over there. Sorry, buddy.
Why do all of these cards say Hugo loses 5? Don't know what to tell you, Hugo. Don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, congratulations on Hugo
with 5
for the
battle
spoon.
points to lose.
It's true.
Exactly right.
In a 3-game tournament with a total of 60 points, you've somehow got negative 150 out of it.
And he still wins somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that is about right. So that's a bit of an interesting one. So hidden treasures, and Jack, we'll have to brainstorm some of those. I really like that idea with the chasing down the. I think they're the sort of scenarios you used to play when you were kind of younger, just mucking around with the rules yourself, creating your own scenarios.
Yeah.
It would be cool if it's like one person knows which one the right one is, and the other one's the one that gets to move it.
Yeah. Ooh, we need to write this down. We're onto some really interesting ideas. I really like the one person has the power, but one person has the information. Sorry, one person has the initiative, but the other person has the power. Of the knowledge of whatever the token is, or which one's right, which one's wrong, which is the +3 and which is the -1, that type of thing.
The other cool idea I like is where you have like, I don't know, 10 objectives that you start the tournament with, and you can pick whichever objective you want to do in this game.
Yep.
So I might pick my objective, which is, I don't know, get a scoring unit into your deployment zone, and your objective might be kill my general or something, you know. And so we're actually playing it slightly like, and we don't know each other's objectives, so we're actually playing it. We don't want to sort of tip our hand too much, so it's obvious that, you know, you shove that scoring unit straight forward. I reckon that's what you're trying to do this turn. But like, we have different objectives where we're not completely opposed. Like, we're not obviously opposed, and it's not complete information to everyone else. And then the other thing you can kind of do is have objectives that are also just a bit counter to what you're normally trying to do. Like sabotage in the ranks, where my objective is to kill my own general because my people, like everyone else in the army, is like, fuck this dude. I do not like him. We are going to get him killed in this game, and if we do, 5 points to us.
He's too foul-mannered.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say he's foul-mannered, right?
Yeah, that'd be a pretty simple way to balance. It's simply like, if you achieve your one and your opponent achieves theirs, then it's a tie.
Yeah,
that's
regular. Right.
And then if you get yours and they don't, well, then you win secondary.
And then you have that weirdness where, like, ooh, I picked kill my own general, and you picked the objective, which is kill my general, and now we're working together. And then at the end, you're like, I got the objective. I'm like, I got yours. I'm like, well, I guess it's a draw.
Hugo seems to have moved his general out into the middle of the force and faced it backwards. I don't understand.
Cunning move.
Okay. What a master. And then just actively ignore it. You're like, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the other army's like, I think that's your objective. I'm probably not going to do that. Like, I'm just not going to shank him for you, because we also know he's probably fighting for us. So now we're like, yeah, actually, we're not going to kill him.
I reckon there could be some rules around solo characters. And that your unit that they're in needs to be of a certain amount of points, maybe, just to kind of limit that happening.
I think that's a silly thing, but there's promise. There's promise there.
Yeah. This was done. I definitely have played with something like this. I'm trying to think, Jack, if you ever heard of the Wollongronks. Do you remember that gaming club from Wollongong? There was a gaming club from Wollongong. Well, I shouldn't really expect you to know, since they're from New South Wales. But the Wollongronks did this thing, the Wollongong team, with the 8th edition tournaments, where they had a list of basically achievements, you know, like your Steam achievements, and that was pretty much it. I think having it chosen before the scenario is pretty awesome as well, and you can kind of have them as as a bit of a secret sort of bluff. I think we had it also at my first ever tournament, which was at Good Games Sydney, and it was I've never seen anyone do this again, but it was like a skirmish event. This was like an 8th edition skirmish event, and of course I came last because I brought goblins and trolls who have terrible leadership, and animosity and stupidity. So that was pretty stupid of me. But yeah, they had all these events like, blow up your general, have all your army flee, have one model do this and this and this. So I thought the troll would hold up his end of the bargain, but no. Leadership 7 orc whipping him was not enough to keep his leadership in check, unfortunately. I love that idea. Yeah. We've already come up with a heap of ideas for future scenarios. That's pretty good. So we're up to the third one, which is, of course, bringing it home, the long march home. We've gathered all the treasure, and we are slowly going to trudge our way back to whence we came. And Jack, we're going to look at a long march home, which I believe uses the deployment type, which we barely ever use. What is that deployment type? Marching columns, is it?
Yeah, so we're using marching columns here. So I like the fluff that they've put in here. So it says that the long war is just about over, and your army has just started the long march home, only to find your path blocked by yet another foe. Push past them as quickly as you can. And if some were to fall, and that just means a few less mouths to feed on the way home, like, just kill a few of your own guys, because we don't really want to take too many more guys back.
Yeah, just make sure you run faster than the big boys and the guys with knee injuries, all right? And then you're right.
Right, yeah. So yeah, using marching columns, which, as you say, we don't really use it all that much in tournaments, but it's a standard 12 from the center deployment, but you have to drop from one side to another, so either left to right or right to left, continuing like dropping units sort of thing. The kind of trick for this one is once a player has deployed all of the units and declared their intent to go first or second, that player must place a marker with its center within the opponent's deployment zone. The other player then deploys their units and places a marker with its center within the opponent's deployment zone. And then the winner is the player with the most scoring units within 6 inches of the marker that they placed at the end of the game. So effectively, you've just got to get the most units within your marker, so that'll be the marker in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of the game.
Yeah, great. That's thematically kind of cool too, because if you're a demon legion or if you're a chaos warrior, that's your portal that you're stepping into and disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or your boat. If you're...
Get on the boat. That's right.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So that's something interesting. What does it say here as well? The core units are worth half of their normal point cost, so there's a bit of less incentive to just beat up on the enemy and actually get your units into that secondary objective.
That's right, and you probably care a little bit less about your own core units as well. You're like, well, don't really care about that unit. It's only worth a couple hundred points now. I'll sacrifice them to try and get another scoring unit within that objective marker sort of thing.
There you go, Hugo. There's a bit more food for thought when it comes to list building.
Yeah.
Have sacrificial core more than you usually do.
You might take a few more. Well, could.
A few more horses. Imagine feeding those horses the whole way home. You just eat the horses.
Yeah, you do just eat the horses.
Yeah. How are you going to get home if you eat the horses?
Well, you're on a boat.
That could be an interesting scenario campaign. Like if you had cavalry, like they're now non-mounted units, right?
Oh yeah. So we used to play
your Bretonnian Knights army are now they're all well fed. They smell a little, but they're all on their single 25ml bottles. Your Pegasus champion lord is now this little dude just running around who's speedball.
Nice. So we used to play a tournament here over the Melbourne Cup weekend. We used to play a cavalry themed tournament, so all the lists were.
Oh, that's thematic. That's
cavalry.
Nice.
Yeah, where everyone was encouraged to bring a cavalry themed list. So yeah, it's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, the animal activists were all at that one.
We used to joke that that's the dwarves, right? They're just like, we're not bringing any cavalry. We're turning up and we're grumbling about everyone's having a good time. Like, it's the animal activists.
Yeah, and then
that's exactly right.
It's just a dude with like 17 gyrocopters, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that. Dwarves, renowned animal activists. They refuse to bring animals to battle. As much as people want to make bear cav a thing. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So, well, yeah, that'll be our long march home of the evening, finishing around 5:30. But I might organise again for if you're listening and you are coming or you're thinking of coming. We'll organise. We might even organise dinner as well if people wanted to hang around. Get us a table upstairs.
I'm sure we might need it. Some of us, the alcoholics in the group.
So. So I might book a big table. Book a big table for everyone because they got really nice food. So hopefully everyone enjoys the venue and enjoys those scenarios. You know, something just a little bit different. Again, we're just using the standard deployment types mostly. It's more the one special rule and one special secondary objective usually, and the special rule is generally tied in with the secondary objective. So that's good. We just got to remember our swear words, and we'll remember the rules for one of them. We'll remember the portal for one of them, and then we'll remember the treasure tokens for the other one. So What are you guys thinking of? What armies are you mustering to bring along? Matt, I know you've probably got the conquistadors ready to go, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much all ready to go. I think I have one guy.
They've got their funding from the Queen. They're sorted.
Yes, the Queen of Spain. Though I have, I think, just the general guy that sits on top of the steam tank that needs a coat of paint with his little admiral hat.
Yes,
that I have.
you did go for the guy with the balding man from a portrait.
I went. Yeah, the guy with he's got it's like an admiral's hat.
Oh, brilliant.
So he looks very Napoleonic, just kind of sitting up on his little, like caressing his cheek while he's just watching the battlefield from the comfort of a steam tank, probably throwing insults in Spanish.
Oh, when you're in a steam tank, yeah, you can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Have you, Jack? I know you're traveling. You're thinking of borrowing an army, but possibly bringing one. What kind of way are you leaning at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm leaning towards bringing one. Trying to pop in my my dwarf list. I haven't taken them for a run for a little while. So it'll be if I go that way, it'll be the all combat dwarf, a couple of big Slayer block list, I think. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking.
It's almost like you got the. You don't have any pirate models in there, do you, Jack?
I don't. No.
Oh, that'd be thematically spot on.
Wouldn't it just? Yeah, that's right.
Was it Long Drong? Is that the
Slayer models? Yeah.
Long Drawn Slayer pirates? Is
those
that a thing?
Nice.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yep.
Yes,
those
that's
were
correct.
good.
Yeah. They're a new. Well, I don't know if they're new, but I was using them recently in Warhammer Total War 3. So
as a merc unit.
Yep.
A regiment of renown. Is that what they call them? Oh,
yes.
that's a throwback. That's a throwback. Oh man, they were so expensive, those units, but they had like game-breaking special rules, didn't they? Some of them in Total War.
Do you mean price or like points?
Just
price. I'm pretty sure they're probably very expensive now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Old medals. Hugo, yourself, you got any thoughts on what you've got? A few choices, but is it demons has been your main focus, or was it you still with the elves?
Warriors last.
Warriors. Warriors last time. Okay.
I don't know. Am I allowed supplements?
Yeah. What are you thinking? The Asklanders?
Are you taking?
I'll probably take Dreadfleet then. Makes sense.
Oh, Dreadfleet. That's a new one. So if people aren't aware, the supplemental books, which some of them actually have a few iterations.
You're saying I have to download a whole new book now?
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll have a quick look at. I've looked at Dreadfleets a little while back. Are they one of the mainline ones? Oh, yes, they are there. They're just their icon has fallen off the face of the earth. They only have one version, but it was 2023, so that's pretty cool. All right, well, Hugo's going to run that by me because pirate elves, like yes, please. Bloody freaking repeater crossbows everywhere.
Sorry, I'm going to read these rules and then I'll tell you whether or not you can do it or not. It's like, all these elves seem to have elf prices, but they seem to have orc stats. I don't know what's going on. Why do they all have plate armor, counters carrying shields, but have great weapons? What?
I actually
3-up ward save for the whole unit? What?
The artwork is of the Dreadfleet book. The front page is fantastic. It's like a Cthulhu over the ocean. This misty Cthulhu summoning his little minions. That's kind of awesome.
Stolen straight.
And it's a giant squid. It's a giant squid with sabers. That's fantastic. All right, Hugo, that's got me very interested, actually.
Well, if you want, we can take a look at the book right now if you're.
Maybe not this episode, but you come back with it.
Actually worthwhile here.
Yeah, you're gonna need an explainer for everyone.
We'll do.
We'll do Hugo explains his Dreadfleet list.
Yeah, just an explicit, like a 3-hour podcast on Hugo just running through his list and how it works.
That's only fair. We've all got a fighting chance now. I have my Dread Elf army is done up with sand and beach themed beach bases and corsairs and stuff as well. So it's got me really interested because I absolutely suck with them, but I haven't played them in a few iterations. So that's got me really interested as well. But I won't be bringing them, Hugo. You can definitely bring these guys along. Freebooters. Yeah, that's it. We need another episode just to talk about the Dread Fleet. The Dread Fleet book. And the quality of these supplementary books is actually quite good. You know, when they shove like a million special rules into everything?
Yep.
There's a little bit of that, but it seems to be managed a little bit. Especially in, like Asklanders. Asklanders has had quite a few iterations, I think.
Yeah. They do a pretty good job with them, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Cultist, is Cultist being used? No, Makkah, sorry. Makkah.
What magic are we playing? Playing regular magic or are we playing warband magic?
For 350.
Yeah, 350, I think we're doing regular magic. I know I've looked into warband magic, but I don't really want to change anything else, to be honest.
Fair enough.
But we will still, if people, need cards and stuff like that, we can change it. I haven't had any issue playing normal magic at 3,500. Any thoughts, guys? Any thoughts, Matt?
No. It's like 3K to 3.5 is like the cutoff between either doing warband or not warband, right?
Yeah.
So, because in 3,500 you can still take a pretty significant magic. Like that's enough to have a significant amount of magic support and a pretty decent wizard if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But then it's also a keen or an interesting point kind of bit because if you don't want to go in magic, you can also not do magic at all as well and still be completely okay because of the points level. So
yeah, very true. I think I've got 7 spells in my list. I need to double check.
What?
I think I do.
I think I have 6, so I'm up there with you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think there's like 1 bound spell or something in there as well.
I have 4.
Giving Hugo ideas. Here we go. I've got Rod of Battle. I've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, and I got a Wizard King as well. So it's kind of cheating. I think it's 6 spells, not 7 spells. In my list, I have actually got a little bit of hobby to do because I'm looking at my list right now, which is my kind of all-rounded Vermin Swarm list, and I have a couple more Rat Ogres to paint. 3, I think. 3 Rat Ogres to paint.
Want all those bad boys painted, looking nice and
I've got a bunch. I always bought secondhand, so I have just such a hodgepodge of Rat Ogre models. They never really had a set. Rat Ogres never really had a set kit. They had these 2 sculpts from the Island of Blood, and that was it. And then you've got a bunch of old metal ones, and I've got a few of those as well, and they don't really match. So I've done some diving on the interwebs, and I found some free ones. But the more that I look at these, I'm pretty sure they're rips out of the game of Vermintide. So I actually am looking at a couple of them right now that are different sculpts of the Vermintide Rat Ogre, which back in the day, I absolutely loved playing Vermintide. Problem is the heads are just a bit small. You miss the giant goofy rat heads from the 6th and 7th edition models, right? Which are absolutely oversized because if anything is going to be enlarged, it's not the ogre's head because its brain is tiny and its fists are huge. So I've got 1 more to print. I've got 2 in front of me. They got some really cool sort of warp grinder arm augmentations and wrecking balls and things like that. There's some pretty awesome stuff. But getting the scale right's a bit tricky. So we shall see. Trying to fit them on 40 mils, but also look menacing and not teeny tiny, is a little bit tricky. And they've got the fists punching into the ground, which is kind of awesome. I don't know if you guys remember from Total War, the Rat Ogres in Total War are basically just almost like hounds, or not hounds, like gorillas. They just thunder on their knuckles. across the battlefield. So yeah, I'll be bringing along a bit of a mix of everything in my Vermin Swarm list. A few new additions to the army. I posted up on Facebook the Jezzails. I've never had Jezzail models before, so I found some really bought some really nice sculpts and painted them up. I repainted my Arena Beast, which is basically the old Hell Pit Abomination model. You guys may have seen that one. I've popped that up. I went over and did a bunch of highlighting and stuff on certain parts of it. I'm really happy with it. It's probably, a painter better than me could go and touch it up a little bit more, but I was happy to go back and kind of muck around with the old models, and it's kind of good just to do little touch-ups here and there instead of starting from scratch, along with some of the character models. I think I'm going to leave the character models as they are, and maybe for Cataclysm I'll bring something different and get painting again. That brings me to something, Matt, that you were thinking of doing. Matt had this fantastic idea, and we're halfway through it, but we won't reveal it just yet. Matt, do you want to give a bit of a tease as to what we were thinking with our
Sure.
spot prizes?
Sorry, I'm just a little distracted because I'm reading some of the disgusting rules that are part of the Dread Fleet. That hereditary spell, Hugo. What? And you could take it twice. Oh, don't.
What's the hereditary spell?
The random move, and you can boost it to make them coastal predator. Oh my god! Don't. No.
The Kraken.
Moving on. Yeah, we were going to do like a kind of like a fun, interesting prize,
like a bounty, like a
bounty prize for a couple of the general models in the game. So if you killed, if people were interested in sending me photos of their general, we can make some wanted posters and some drink rewards for people who kill other people's generals.
But we're definitely doing it for. If we'll have to make it the rule. Anyone who's come on the part-time Warlords has to put their Warlord up as a bounty.
Nice.
Yeah. So Matt and I have already done ours. Thanks to Matt for a bit of editing goodness. So we've got to get Jack's, we've got to get Hugo's, we've got to get Brendan's a photo of your Warlord, please. Okay.
Yep. Can do.
We're going to headhunt them for beer.
Because I just thought it'd be fun, and I found this free software that just makes, some old-timey type wanted posters.
So, they look really good. They look really good.
Yeah, they do actually, right? They kind of worked out really nice. Your photo, you took a really nice photo of your monitor, and I tried to replicate it, and I just.
I'm trying to get a bit better,
nicer, and you have a nicer background and a nicer camera.
Oh, that's just my phone, but it's just I've been mucking around with it. I got like trying to get some tips online on how do people actually take good photos of models, and I'm getting better, but I'm not there yet, but I'm getting better.
That's something we'll work on, because we'll go visual at some point on Part-Time Warlords. We will.
Yeah, absolutely. That was part of it. I don't have video cameras and stuff like that. I just be using my phone, but
you sound like one of Jack's dwarves there. Don't have those video cameras.
It's too expensive nowadays.
Moving pictures, and they're in colour.
Back in my day. Give me a second, and I'll come up with a dwarf voice. That's an old man dwarf voice.
Yeah, just mute yourself, work on it, come back in.
Yeah. End scene. That's exactly right. Oh man. Yeah, the hopefully the quality will get even better. I'm just kind of mucking around with the lighting and stuff like that. I'm looking at my hobby table, and it's still like 5 different armies on my hobby table at the moment. So
I cleaned mine off today. I was getting depressing.
Oh, good job. My paints have somehow spread across every table in my study.
I had to reorganize my paints. Well, actually, I needed Megan's help to reorganize my paints, because as probably some listeners know, I'm very colorblind.
Okay.
But I had to clear a lot of off, because it was they were just armies, like 4 Lord of the Rings armies just staring at me going like, paint me, bro. And I'm like,
and
I really wanted to play you 3 months ago. And
yeah.
I was still playing Ninth Age. Go away.
Jack, if you bring the Slayer units, you've got everything painted, ready to go?
Yeah, pretty well, I think. I've been playing that army for a while and something pretty similar, so I don't think there'll be too much. I'd be kind of tempted to touch up and do a new Lord of some descript, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, Pirate Lord, 100% Pirate Lord.
That's right. Yeah.
Pirate Lord to fight Hugo's whatever he is, Lord, Reaper Lord.
That could be something we need to give Hugo as a challenge. Like Hugo can bring that army if he wants to, but it has to be fully painted. Yeah.
Yep. Hugo's got a bunch of dark elves, don't you, Hugo? But are they the ones with the snow bases?
Yeah, but there's also a lot of other stuff in the book that's a bit more unique. Like, for example, they've got like a 50x75 model. They've got like a whole bunch of 40x40 models.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite different.
And this sea fog, it's got a sea fog unit and the...
Yeah.
Oh, the sea fog Leviathan is just the Mist Leviathan. It's the same 100x100 base.
Just the Cthulhu.
Yeah, Cthulhu.
Doesn't matter.
Basically.
You have soft cover from the first turn. Jesus.
Oh, what's it? These Tritons. We got to do a deep dive on this. There's some wacky stuff here.
Yeah, some wacky stuff.
I just love the idea of the salty veterans. They're literally just called the Salt Veterans. Look it up, guys. It's the
welcome back to Night Age. Here's this fringe army that's gonna f the shit out of you.
That is sounding less and less appealing. But each of the unit entries has like a thematic pirate story to go with it. It's fantastic.
Nice.
All right, Hugo, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do a bit of research. Maybe don't bring anything too crazy, but Captain's log. I love this. I love this stuff. Sea wolves. What are sea wolves? How does that work?
I don't know.
What's a sea wolf?
You never been out to sea and just have all those wolves that just hang around with you?
I just see Advanced 5.
Never been
March
on a cruise
14.
ship before?
What is this? Like, what is this? Is this a person? Is this an actual mount? Like, what?
That is extremely confusing.
I mean, it's a beast.
Interesting and fun.
It says it's a beast, but
yeah. All right. Well, that's your hobby project. We'll
sure.
We'll see. We'll have to get the photos all up on. I'll give you guys albums on the Facebook page. I'm starting to kind of build up a bit of a library of stuff and get used to how Facebook wants you to use things. So, all right. Yeah, Hugo's researching stuff as we speak. There we go. Tap. No, it's gonna be good. I think though I have a giant. I've got a giant dragon on mine over there that looks like it could fit. So Hugo, if you need anything, you can borrow some of my dread elves as well. They're done up with the
No. He has to paint his whole army. Don't give him it out. No. Has to be painted.
I'm looking at this.
Priority themes. I want eye patches on everyone.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this commander guy on a colossal kraken. Oh
dear. You're just gonna go to one of those comic book type stores,
I wanted to get eaten by
and get a giant
character
figure.
on a dragon. I'd play a whole world.
Yeah.
Topical.
That's great. So listen in, guys, to future kind of updates. We'll drop in some more details for the Riverwood Rumble. End of June, 29th of June, we're good to go. I'll pay a deposit, and it's exciting. It's really exciting to create your own event. I haven't done it in quite a long time, and it's been really good. Brendan and I last week were texting around all the different people that we could think of, and quite a few of them have gotten back to us and want to come along and are excited and doing a lot of hobby as well. So I hope that we've given you something to help motivate you to paint and model a little bit more, guys. And please sign up on New Recruit. We sent that out the other day, and sign up on the Facebook page. And feel free to muck around with your lists, and we'll get back with some maybe some practice games and things like that in the next week or two, and we'll have our wanted posters to share. So Jack and Hugo, get the cameras out, see if we can. I just imagining Hugo just getting an internet image and then paint.net, drawing an eye patch over over the Dark Elf model.
Yeah.
Painting an eye patch. No, man, it's the black dot puncher.
Just a little piece of... Look, if I can print off my banners, he can print off eye patches. All right?
Yeah. Oh, I love your banners. I'm going to... one day I will try and get some of those banners sorted with my... That's a future hobby project. So I think for Brett's, I'll definitely try and get some cool heraldry, and you'll have to show me how to do those cool banners.
Very easy.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we finish up? We've mentioned all of that. And I think the next episode will be going into maybe a bit on Cataclysm, but also just a sort of a general news. I know that we're waiting on the May drop 3.0 sneak peek, which I keep checking for like daily, which I'm sure will be coming out soon. And it'll be once our event talk starts to die down, we'll start to talk a lot about 3.0 and what we know so far is some pretty interesting stuff. So it'll be interesting to get all your guys' thoughts on that as well. So I think we might leave it there. And thank you very much, Matt, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Jack, for coming in.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And Hugo, good luck with your entire army that you need to make in a month.
Yeah, I got this. Maybe.
You got it. Good job. Good job. And I'm going to get back to printing these ogres and these Wardens of the Flame, I believe they're called. It's exciting stuff. All right. And thank you, listeners. Thanks so much for everyone who's liking the page and subscribing and listening. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Time Warlords. Good night.
Good night.
Laters.